Welcome back, and we want to give a big shout out and thank you to our sponsor, Germanna Community College.
A truly outstanding local institution, and we're very proud to have them as our sponsor. Next week, Thursday, June 6th, is the 75th anniversary of D-Day. That was the Allied invasion of Europe during World War II. It was and remains the largest and most complicated amphibious landing in the history of human conflict. American soldiers, airmen, and sailors, along with our British, Canadian, and French allies, were quite literally kicking in the front door of what Adolf Hitler called Fortress Europe. Many don't think about this today, but victory on June 6th was by no means certain. Today, looking at this great undertaking, we know it all worked. The Allies got ashore, they took all the assigned beaches, and started moving inland. By May of the following year, Germany surrendered. That's the advantage of looking back in time. We know how it all worked out. But during the first week of June 1944, no one in the Allied command knew exactly how it was going to go. This was particularly true of the Supreme Allied Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower. He knew all the possible failure points. He knew all the things that could go wrong. And he also knew that in spite of all the careful planning, it was still a big gamble. Would the weather, which had been so bad, let up just long enough for a landing? Had security of this top-secret operation been breached? Would the Germans be able to mobilize their forces for an immediate counterattack? Would our men, against strong fixed positions, be able to fight their way ashore? General Eisenhower understood all this. Many people don't know this, but just before the invasion, Ike, as the general and later president was known, scratched out a note in pencil and put it in his pocket. It was his other message. Fortunately, he never had to use it. It said, "Our landings in the Cherbourg Peninsula have failed to gain a satisfactory foothold, and I have withdrawn our troops. If any blame is to be found to attach to this attempt, it is mine alone." In his view, there was no passing the buck, no blaming it on circumstances, and no excuses. The responsibility if things went wrong were his alone. We know how it ended. The Allies carried the day. But those brave men, from Ike to the pilots to the paratroopers to the men who waded ashore under withering fire, all knew in their heart of hearts that victory was by no means certain. We at CVTV take a special interest in our nation's military history and the service given by so many. To all those veterans of World War II, whether they were D-Day or not, we want to say thank you.
Thank you.
And I think you have something to say about our Rappahannock landfill.
I do, but I want to compliment you on that. Very moving, and I think there's so much from your story that could be applicable to anything we do.
That's really true.
Anything we do, whether it be our job, our hobbies, our families, take responsibility.
Take responsibility, and all the while dare to push
forward.
Push forward no matter what the odds.
Absolutely. In a press release posted on May 29, 2019, the Rappahannock Regional Landfill is suspending charges at the regional landfill for storm debris through June 9th. The action is a direct result to aid residents in the cleanup from the recent storm that hit the area on May 25th. Residents of Stafford and the city of Fredericksburg are asked to bring their storm debris to the landfill on Eskimo Hill Road, where they are better equipped to manage this material. The action does not apply to commercial companies or loads. As the storm caused substantial damage with fallen trees and debris, the landfill recognizes the need to make it simpler for residents to clean up by waiving the charges for disposing of it. By suspending the fees through June 9th, it gives citizens 2 weekends to clean up their property at a reduced cost. The type of material considered for relief is classified as vegetative debris to include shrubs, tree trimmings, grass and leaves, twigs, or cut up branches. The regional landfill is open 7 days a week. Their hours are 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Weekday hours are from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and the landfill is located on Eskimo Hill Road.
Well, along with the House of Delegates and a host of local offices, we are also electing our members of the state Senate this year. There are 40 state senators in Virginia, and they're all up for election. One of those state Senate districts, District 28, covers well over 50% of our viewing area, perhaps even more. It includes Prince William, Stafford, Spotsylvania, and the Northern Neck. Usually the seat isn't contentious at all. It's solidly Republican. Indeed, in 2015, the Democrats didn't even run a candidate. But this year, with state politics in flux, the race to nominate a Democratic candidate to run against incumbent State Senator Richard Stewart is competitive and nasty. Former member of the Stafford Board of Supervisors, Laura Sellers, is running against Fredericksburg lawyer and human rights activist Qasim Rashid. Rashid's faith is Islamic, and Sellers is alleged to have made false claims regarding Rashid's religion and has said that Rashid wants to impose Sharia law. That's a strict fundamentalist Islamic form of law. As might be expected, these charges haven't gone over well with many in the area Democratic Party organizations. Several prominent members of the Democratic Party, including Stafford Democratic Party Chairman Ben Litchfield, has voiced strong opposition to this kind of campaigning. The primary is scheduled for June 11th. And now to George Kerns with sports. George.
Thanks, guys. George Kerns here for CVTV Sports. The NBA Finals gets underway Thursday night, May 30th at 9 o'clock on ABC. Toronto came back to end Milwaukee's season, winning the series 4-2. Kawhi Leonard showed why he is one of the greatest in today's NBA. He now leads his team, the Toronto Raptors, against the two-time defending NBA champs, the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry is ready for the showdown as Golden State tries to win 3 straight NBA championships. Star player Kevin Durant will not play in Game 1, and DeMarcus Cousins could play sparingly depending on how his injury is. In NHL news, the Boston Bruins and the St. Louis Blues are tied at 1 game apiece in the Stanley Cup Finals. In NASCAR news, Martin Truex Jr. won the Coca-Cola 600 this past weekend and has moved up to 3rd place in the standings with 448 points. Kyle Busch is in 1st place with 528 points. And Brad Keselowski is in 2nd with 459 points. Rounding out the top 10 is Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, and Alex Bowman. In MLB news, the Washington Nationals have won 2 in a row and against a good opponent, the Atlanta Braves. Winning 5-4 as Strasburg struck out 11 and winning 14-4 as Sanchez allowed 1 hit over 6 scoreless innings and the Nationals' bats came to life. Howie Kendrick hit a 3-run double and Sanchez made his return to Atlanta where he thrived in 2018 to earn his first win of the season. He allowed 1 hit and 1 walk with 7 strikeouts. Juan Soto and Matt Adams homered for Washington, which swept the 2-game series and ended Atlanta's streak of 5 straight series victories. The Nationals have won 5 out of 6. They are still 9 games back, but this could be the spark they needed to get going. They have a record of 24-32. The Baltimore Orioles are 17-39, 19.5 games back of the first-place New York Yankees, and they are 2-8 in their last 10 games. The Nationals are at Cincinnati this coming weekend, and the Orioles are at home against the San Francisco Giants, who have lost 7 in a row. The Minnesota Twins are leading the majors with a record of 37-17. In NFL news, the Washington Redskins have signed edge rusher Montez Sweat of Ole Miss. He was the 26th overall pick. Haskins was 15th overall. Receiver Terry McLaurin, a 3rd-round pick who played with Haskins at Ohio State, is the only Redskins unsigned draft pick. They signed Haskins and 7 other members of their draft class early in May. Well, that's a look at the sports world. I'm George Kerns for CVTV Sports.